It's just there's not really a lot of good options here for anybody. This is not good. At a minimum, you want to see a plus 2-point bump. At a minimum, it's too soon to tell. But if you don't see at least a plus 2-point bump, that goes back to the problem that I was talking about with Kamala's rhetoric. Showcasing that Donald Trump is a buffoon who is narcissistic is good, but it's not going to carry you across the finish line. I don't know, though. I don't know yet. Like I said, it's too soon. I suspect she will see a bump.
Overwhelmingly so, which I don't think is really much of a surprise given the 50-50 nation we are right now. But the bottom line is, in the average of polls, Harris had a slight national lead, and at this particular point, I think she'll probably hold on to that, at least based upon this initial signal.
Yeah, didn't hurt her. Maybe
you're going to be right again when they listen to your "it works," when they go about their way as you predicted, it goes shit for her. We'll see.
But
no.
It didn't also, like, it wasn't, the nail in a coffin for a Donald Trump candidacy either, which is exactly kind of what people expected with this debate in the 50-50.
I still suspect that this poll is far too early to tell, truly. Especially because, like, it's not just about the debate. It's not just about the debate necessarily, but it's also all the content that you can cut out of it, right? Think about it in terms of, like, social media, you know? It's not just about, like, how many people are live watching me collaborate with Jason the Ween. It's also about, like, you know, the TikToks that come after it, you know? It's like that. The aftermath of that, where if the campaign moves in this direction, where they can cut so much great content out of this, tie it back to, like, Trump's ridiculous lack of interest in, like, pushing for policies or anything like that, then you will see a bump.
In right now. What is the biggest difference, though, you see in polls, these polls, compared to those that came after the Biden-Trump debate in June?
Yeah, I mean, look, it all comes down to mental state and being able to deal with challenges. All right, so mental sharp, and can deal with challenges. Look at this. Back in the post-June debate, right, look at that. 52% of voters said that, in fact, Trump was mentally sharp and can deal with challenges. Look at the Joe Biden number. It was just 26%. Now, look at the difference here. Look at this. 58% in the post-September debate poll said that Harris was mentally sharp and can deal with challenges. Trump's number actually dropped below 50%, down to just 46, so that 52 to 46. So this was the big change that I think a lot of Democrats are hoping for when they switched out Biden for Harris. It came down to mental sharpness, and the bottom line is the clear majority of voters believe that Kamala Harris is mentally sharp and can deal with challenges, and the number for Trump, that declined by 6 points between post-June and post-September. I think that's a very welcome sign for Democrats. So on the top line, maybe not so much movement nationally, but underneath the hood, I think Democrats really have to like what they see.
In talking with people on TV from the Harris campaign and then hearing from Democrats involved with the campaign, one of the things you hear is that everyone feels they did great in the debate. The question is, can it reach the undecided voters?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure they have an answer, or at least not the answer they want yet. So it leads me to this question. Rita, what really is an undecided voter? Where are they and who are they?
Yeah, well, look, part of the challenge here is that undecided voters are undecided because they're not really focused on this campaign. They are low information voters. They tend to be younger. And likely they didn't watch the debate. They may be seeing some social media on it, but they're hard to reach voters, and they may make the difference in this race.
Are they undecided between the candidates, or are they undecided about whether they show up to vote?
Well, I think a little of both. I think one important thing to note is they probably have a pretty strong judgment about Donald Trump. They're skeptical about politics generally. They don't particularly like Trump, but they don't know very much about Kamala Harris. They're open to her, but
maybe all the liberals who get mad at me when I bring this shit up will agree with it now that David Axeldick is saying it. Go back. This guy's so stupid. Wait, did I misunderstand it? Isn't he what he's saying? Like, the campaign needs to fill the gaps on things that are transactional.
they're also prepared to be disappointed by her as well. So a big task for the campaign is to continue to fill in the picture of her, and particularly around sort of transactional issues about the economy.
The difference is he's being way kinder than I am, where I'm saying she's wrong for not doing this and it's bad and it's going to cost her. David Axelrod is saying the campaign has a big task ahead of her in Hasan is a low IQ voter. Yes, I am. I'm just low IQ in general. He said undecided voters are low info voters. He's not wrong. They're not low IQ voters. They're low information voters. He's right. This doesn't mean that like high information voters are brilliant, mind you, even though many liberals act like they are whenever they talk about like harm reduction in this chat and act like voting for Kamala Harris is going to solve a single thing. But yeah, it's correct. Listen, one thing to understand is everyone in America is stupid, myself included, okay? All the voters are stupid. Voters who have done a shit ton of research and think that like Kamala Harris is going to reduce the harm in comparison to Donald Trump are stupid. People that think that Donald Trump is going to save the country are just, they're even dumber than the Kamala Harris stupidity. And the people who don't vote because they're like, it doesn't do nothing to me, they're also stupid. Okay, everyone is stupid. It's just there's not really a lot of good options here for anybody. What about the uncommitted movement? Low info? No, actually, they're the smartest out of a group of idiots in general because they're actually trying to use, they're naive, but that shouldn't stop them from advocating for their righteous cause. But having said that, I do still believe that they're naive. There's a big difference between undecided voters and unconvinced voters. Pundits mix them up. These guys I work with say undecided voters are people who barely know what politics are. They don't care, while unconvinced voters are informed but need something to vote for. He's mixing them up a bit. I think there is I think ultimately that is a distinction without a difference because all of those guys, okay, are choosing between the couch and voting for Kamala Harris. They're not choosing between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And for many of them, the couch wins. Okay. So I don't have an issue with him saying like undecided versus unconvinced.
What is she going to do for me?
On that note, one of the things you hear in the chatter in class is, Kamala Harris needs more distinctive.
You literally are an undecided voter. You've stated multiple times you do not know if you will vote for Kamala. I'm a political commentator, brother. I don't think you should, I think that the people who care about who I'm going to vote for oftentimes just nefariously ask that question so they can just like cut propaganda against whatever the I'm going to say next without having to listen to the message. Don't worry about me, okay?
Policy proposals. Is that what undecided voters want?
Well, I don't know if, I don't think what she needs is a voluminous.
They just want a gotcha in either direction, really.
This list of policies, but there may be a few signature policies that speak to the economic experience, quality of life experience of voters, in which she wants to go deeper and drive with those voters to give a sense that, she gets it. I think she might help. I'll take a chance on her. But these voters are not going to be. This is not 2008.
Right.
They're not going to be swept along here. They're going to grudgingly conclude that I'll take a chance on this.
Which is why the Harris team, I think, genuinely does want another debate.
For the record, I have already made my decision. I'm writing in Joseph Robinette Biden. He's the man who can change this country in the direction where nothing will fundamentally change. I'm an AUKUS voter. How many times do I have to tell you? I am an AUKUS voter. I am a Five Eyes voter. I am a NATO voter. We exist. I also have been lying this entire time. I actually reside in Pennsylvania. That's right. And I will be voting in Pennsylvania, the pivotal swing state, the pivotal swing district of Erie, Pennsylvania, as a matter of fact, the district that swings the entire state. And as an Erie resident, I am staying the course. I am riding with Biden.
Another chance to reach people who may not be paying attention.
And the problem with her debate, John, performance, one of the problems with it is it came rather early in this. I mean, there's going to be an eternity between now and November. And so the other motivation for a second debate is it's a second chance to do well. Yeah. And I think they're pretty confident she would. And I think Trump's people are like, you know what, this didn't benefit us very much. Why should we take the risk of doing another?
Yeah, for all the argument that goes on out there, inside a campaign, you do a debate if you think it will help you, and you don't do it if you don't think it'll help you.
Yes.
Full stop.
Yes.
And, you know, and that's, I think, the only analysis on the Trump team right now. They may change their mind because they think they need it, but not
I don't
right
know
now.
if they'll change their mind. He may change his mind, and they keep.
I'm confused. Maybe didn't hear correctly, but the people outside the DNC you interviewed are people you consider misguided? No. The uncommitted movement is entirely different than undecided people. What are you talking about? The uncommitted movement is a totally separate thing. I said some are, I mean, they're doing the right thing. But I also suspect that there is an air of naivete to assume that the Democratic Party will shift priorities or positions. The uncommitted movement are diehard Democratic Party loyalists, people who have voted Democrat every election, people who are literally a part of the Democratic Party. They're state delegates. They are people who are legislators that are Democratic Party legislators at their own states, right? They work for the Democratic Party. And what they are trying to do, which I think is brave and correct, is to get the Democratic Party to meet their demands because they have some leverage in this process because there's an election coming up. The Democratic Party, of course, is refusing or has refused so far and will probably continue to refuse to even listen to their demands. So undecided and uncommitted are different, but undecided and unconvinced are the same. Yes, because one is a political movement. One is a political movement directed towards one specific policy goal. Okay. The other is the broadest electorate, the plurality of the voter eligible population.